Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, and I want to say Shalom, Dr. Nakwat out there, doing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again, another lesson. I don't really have a full title for this one. I have a working title, titled the Long-Term Lie, and we're dealing with this. I don't want to say it. They're getting privy to a lot of things. You can see, just by looking at the screen. If you look around on the screen, see what it's talking about. I'm gonna refer to the. I'm gonna go over here, and this word that you see right here, that starts with a V. I'm gonna just refer that to. I'm just gonna refer to that as the soda. Okay. So we used to say other things like juice, but those things have gone out. So I'm just gonna refer to it as the soda. All right, that that soda. All right, or the soda or that soda. All right. So, I don't usually make. None of us really make lessons about this anymore. It's actually something I said I was pretty much done with. But I felt like it was, to something to return to, because I saw this I've never seen this video before. And I saw this video and I thought it was very, very interesting. And it's not so much as about, the health side of it with the soda and, not drinking soda and whatnot, right? But it's about, how they plan to put out this flavor of soda so long ago, all right? And this lady's basically talking about it, and everything she said about the soda really is what happened when they rolled it out. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Lord willing, it'll be able to stay up, right? If not, Lord willing, it'll be on Rumble or Odyssey most prominently. But yeah, so we're going to get into it. Again, the working title, probably just what it'll be, the long-term lie. I'm not the biggest fan of that title, so I'll probably change it in post, all right, when Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai gives me a title, Lord willing. So, but until then, the long-term lie. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. I got it to full screen one time. I don't know how I did it, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it and shut my ass up, and I'll let you guys listen to it. Here you go.
United States of America.
Yes, sir, I have.
Why?
I do not feel safe living in the United
Really?
States.
Do you want to come in and sit down?
No, sir, I'd rather not.
You'd rather just be here so you can make a fast exit if you have
As soon as you and I finish,
You're out
I'm
here.
leaving the country again. Why? Because in a very short time, not today, not tomorrow, but very soon.
All right, and this was a show called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. It had 3 seasons from December 2nd, 2009 to December 17th, 2012. So think about it. The thing that happened that she's talking about happened 7 years later. All right, so here you go.
We'll be facing compulsory vaccination under the
That's if that was in 2012. Probably happened earlier.
mistaken term of voluntary vaccination.
Now, what is it about these vaccinations? You think that they're bad?
Well, first of all, let's start with the fact that the World Health Organization has decided that we have 90% too many people. The World Health Organization has been working since 1974 on vaccines to create permanent sterility.
Doctor, the response is going to be, you're crazy. How can you say this stuff?
They will induce a pandemic. You're going to get the flu. Everybody around us is going to get the flu. Then the United States government, based on their statements that they've already made, will say, oh my, we have a pandemic. What that means is a Holocaust, a genocidal Holocaust. Men and women will sicken and die, and those who survive will be infertile. Let me tell you a story. In 2003, I had a patient in my drug-free medical practice who was a head of state. And one day she said, it's almost time for the great culling to begin.
The what?
That's what I said. The what? She said the great culling, C-U-L-L-I-N-G, when you thin the herd. I said, what are you talking about? She said, it's almost time for the useless eaters to be culled. And she said, those are the people who are consuming our non-renewable natural resources. I said, who are the people who make this decision? She said, we, the aristocrats.
This person you talk to, you're bound because you're a physician, and there's the relationship that you can't talk. Is this person a member of the Bilderbergs?
She is not Queen Beatrice. She is not the Queen of England. She is not Henry Kissinger. But she certainly presented herself as a member of that power elite, and she certainly was a head of state.
You've left the United States of America.
Yes, sir, I have.
And these are all issues.
Why?
These are all issues that did seem to arise. All right, with that there was fertility issues. All right, that did come into play. I believe miscarriages were also a thing for people that were pregnant. And it's beyond the point of being argued. All right, and the results are out. All right, as somebody who studied it since the shit was out. All right, it's no, it's not something that can be argued anymore. It's not something that can be tried to be defended. All right, we were showing reports and stuff from Norway and other countries way back in the fucking day. We were going through the VAERS documentation and showing the adverse effects and health issues. And routinely getting, strikes on our YouTube channels, routinely getting videos taken down, and they said it was, miss to the info to the mation, all right, gotta be, sly with the words, of the medical variety, and, we didn't say anything that was factually, wrong. Okay, we didn't say anything that was factually inaccurate. We had the reports, all right, actual documentation, things that scientists were looking into, things that other countries were looking into, that America was seemingly not looking into. And that's just one of the things that doesn't really surprise us, all right, because at the end of the day, this is the agenda, and through Yahweh Shemiah Shai, that was revealed, all right, to us. All right, most prominently through the elders, the apostles, all right, on down to the elders and brothers of Great Millstone, all right, which I'm not a part of. That's, who I learned from. Again, like I always say, I recommend you do the same. I'd be considered affiliated just because I teach in the same like manner. They give the truth. I try to, to the best of my ability, give the truth. If I stumble in speech and not in heart, right? But because you had other camps out there, they were telling their members to go and, take the soda, drink the soda. All right. And some of those people drank the soda and died. All right. There's a lot of unhealthy things in soda. So it's not something you should recommend. Right. And none of us, drink that soda brand. All right. We didn't go with that. All right. We knew it was bad right off the bat. Didn't want nothing to do with the soda. So we said, fuck it. Not drinking soda. All right. It's not healthy. All right, there's much more healthy things that you could drink, right? So, it says, I wonder where she is today. She put herself in witness protection. Said, wow, she nailed it. I remember when this episode was aired, there was, this show was something else. Says, I have a feeling she's talking about Hillary Clinton. Now, I thought the exact same thing, too. I'm glad that someone else said that, because I had a feeling that she was talking about Hillary Clinton as well. Says, I wonder how bad this could have been under her presidency. Thank God she lost. It doesn't matter. And I'm glad this guy says, it says, Trump is an elite, right? So, oh, God, thank God. It would have been terrible if it was Hillary. Look, man, it doesn't matter who these people are. They're the puppets, all right? You're always looking at the puppets. You're not looking at the puppet masters, man. You need to look at who's pulling the strings. Not the string that's being pulled, but the people pulling the strings, okay? And we knew about this, all right, for a long, long time. But I gotta say, I was unfamiliar with this. I never saw this. I never saw any videos come out at the time about this specific clip. Brothers make a lot of lessons. There was probably a brother that put it out there. I just never got the chance to see it. thousands upon thousands of lessons going out every single day, so you can't see them all. But yeah, man, it's seeing this, and I was watching this here on Instagram Reels, and I said, wow, that's really interesting that every single thing that she said is pretty accurate. I mean, this was 2009 to 2012. Since then, we've had the Bill Gates talk about the same culling. All right, talking about how to manage population, and he mentioned soda. Right, he said that if we do a really good job with so and something and soda, all right, we can probably get that number down to he said it straight up. But a lot of people say no, that's not what he said. The same thing when Biden said if they do that, there will be no Nord Stream pipeline, and then Nord Stream pipeline blew up, and then everyone said, well, who did it? Well, who could it have been? He just admitted fault to who it would be. He said it would go away, it would blow up. All right, wouldn't that not necessarily blow up, but he said there would be none. Okay, and now there was none for a time being. I'm assuming they've done something with it since. But yeah, man. So this is the type of stuff that a lot of the people that are we're not stupid when it comes to that. All right, we can go and get this is yeah, we'll just start from 11. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We know, all right, we know the type of stuff that he does, okay? And that's why we didn't trust, the soda manufacturer in the first place, okay? Because we know what type of stuff that company does. All right, again, talking in code. Company being, Esau, right? We know what the company does. We don't want any of their soda, okay? Nothing. You never heard of the saying, nothing good comes for free? And everything she said was fucking accurate, man. And that's why this video really blew me away. Because she said it's going to be under the guise of, optional. Okay, when it's not really, and they said, oh, it's optional. Then you couldn't go to a concert. Oh, it's optional, but you couldn't go to certain stores. Oh, it's optional, but you couldn't, they weren't hiring certain places. I remember at Target, they would not hire you unless you had it for a time being. Okay, and you had to wear, the little beanie over your mouth. All right, you know what I mean. But you had to wear the mouth hat. So that's what they wanted you to do. And if anybody said anything or criticized it or said this is ridiculous or said anything or tried to prove fact, we were ostracized and criticized. And I know the person that I call an aunt. All right, those long-term members know that she's not really an aunt at all. All right, just some fat bitch that dated my uncle for some time being. But she was all hyped up on the soda. All right, everybody's got to drink the soda. Drink the soda. Drink the soda. All right, try it. And she ended up drinking some of the soda. And everybody else in the house did. She drank the soda. My little cousin drank the soda. Older cousin drank the soda, and older female cousin drank the soda as well. So they all drank the soda, and then a roommate, them, that fucking moved in because one of them was friends with it. All right, yeah, it. All right, they got the soda, and they kept on pushing. Oh, have you got the soda? Have you got the soda? Have you tried the soda yet? And I said, I'll wait on it. Right, I'll wait on it. And I gave the reason. They said, they didn't say. They said that it would take years to manufacture the soda for the soda to come out. And all of a sudden, it was ready like the next month. I can't trust drinking a soda like that, and I don't know the ingredients. Okay, and I said, hey, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with that. Right? I've heard a lot of stuff with heart issues from the chemicals that are in those sodas, and also on top of that, some of the sodas were causing clotting of a very red substance that happens to pump through your veins. Right? And they were like, no, that's not how it is. Trying to make it seem like I'm anti-soda, and I'm not anti-soda. Just because you don't like one soda doesn't mean you hate them all, right? And now I wouldn't get any of the fucking sodas, but before that, I wasn't anti-soda. Right? If you wanted to drink from a different brand that wasn't that type of soda, all right, dealing with that M to the R to the N, M to the R, N to the A sodas, all right. I wouldn't have flipped out or anything like that. There's certain things like the Pox, the chicken soda, all right, certain things like that, and other sodas that I never really had an issue with. But when this one came out, it just seemed, that's when it really opened my eyes. I said, okay, they're doing some weird shit. And to be fair, I think that with all sodas now, I think they put that flavor of soda in it, right? If it wasn't that brand before, I think that brand's worked its way into all sodas. So if you take one soda, I feel like you've pretty much taken them all. And yeah, man. So and then guess what? They end up getting clots and red stuff that ends up pumping through their veins. So they ended up getting, clots as they were calling it. The I'm gonna be careful with my wording because I don't have to go jump through a bunch of hoops just to try to keep my lesson up. But and I don't know if they're still fucking cracking down hard. I don't want to risk it. All right, even if it's on a backup channel, don't care. All right. So yeah, they end up getting clots. One got him in his leg. The other one started having issues and stuff. No, good, right? And I end up getting sick from around him, and then shedding. All right, that's the thing that happens. We're about to talk about that now. So we never trusted this demon to begin with. We never trusted this man. All right, Esau, to begin with, right? Lest Satan should get advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. 2 Corinthians 2:11. We know what he does. All right, we're not fucking stupid. Okay, but most people in the world are. All right, so here, go and check this and listen to this. I heard about this. I've heard they were trying to put the soda in the lettuce, the air, and I also heard about how if someone was drinking soda around you, how that soda could actually end up, jumping off onto you. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was around him. I was having so many health issues on top of, other than, I wasn't doing right to the Lord, so he was messing me up. But after that, I think some of that hanging around that, caused some pretty permanent bad effect being around them. So you can see it right here. But here we go.
So when we realized that vaccines could be sprayed, that's when we started to look into aerosolized vaccines.
Like why is that written there? Right? I mean, that just sets off a red flag. Wait a minute. Why would anyone ever consider, we think of vaccines as like injected every child, or, now all of a sudden, oh no, there must be an area of research here.
Right. So that's when we started looking into aerosolized vaccines. So we started pulling grants, and we could see that there was funding going to aerosolized COVID vaccines.
It was funding.
But that wasn't the most shocking discovery that we made. This is what led us to the discovery that our government's funding research on transmissible vaccines or self-spreading vaccines. And so the High Wire covered this. Jeffrey Jackson did a report on this. And so what we've been doing is we've been building off of the research that was done to basically see what is going on with these transmissible vaccines. And again, as a reminder for anyone who maybe missed the segment, they're developing vaccines that would essentially act like a live virus, where it could basically replicate itself into new hosts. And so the idea is that we know that viruses evolve and change, but our vaccines are static. So they wanted to create vaccines that would evolve and change.
Good God. I know we've covered this, but you want to talk about playing God. And this is where, to me, it's just gone wild.
So when we realized that...
Transmissible soda. Someone else is drinking it around you, so that you have to drink that soda. It's going to end up in your stomach somehow. So, but hey, this doesn't surprise us. All right, this is just more documentation that I thought was interesting to find. The long-term lie. Even back in the day, there's been there was research funding a M to the R with that N to the A Vidco. All right, just put vid, all right, after co. But yeah, that Vidco soda. They came out with that Vidco soda. There's just so many things that was weird with it. First of all, they said it was impossible to make a Vidco soda in such little time. And then the Vidco soda came out like literally not even like a couple months later. They said, you want to be able to do it in years. And then come to find out, there was Vidco soda, testing, all right, all the way going back into 2017. There was a patent for a Vidco soda. Why would you patent a soda that wasn't yet? There wasn't even, nobody was even drinking. The thing that the soda was trying to, make you full on wasn't even around yet. That's like if That's like if that's like if I don't even know. All right, can't think of a good way. That's like if there's anyway. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I can't think of a way to say it without blowing it the whole thing. But yeah, man. So it's just that's like making cake frosting when cake hasn't been invented yet. Right? That's the best way I can say it. What's the reason for cake frosting? What are you gonna put it on? Not cake. Cake don't exist. Okay? And Vidco didn't exist at the time. So why were they patenting Vidco soda? So you gotta think about it. Think about it. Use your brain. They don't want you to. But yeah, all this stuff has come to light. It was coming to light then. It was coming to light then, and it's coming to even more light now. And there's no, you can't argue. All right, to quote Kanye West, you can't give us no advice. All right, and all this stuff that you did, all the little things, all the little ports, all those are being blown wide open. Man. Nobody trusts these devils anymore. Okay, nobody trusts the 1948ers. Nobody trusts these devils. I mean, you still got the stupid. All right, there's a lot of stupid people. So thankfully for Esau, they have a lot of stupid people. So I know they're happy about that. Thankfully for them, because if they didn't have those couple stupid people, their whole operation would have been blown open years ago. But they've really done a great job. Not even them. They can't even get credit. Yehowa Shemiao Shai has really done a great job in keeping some of these lower end people very stupid. So we can keep this going, right? Because the Lord has to keep it going until He can come back. So people had to become very, very dumb. I mean, they're doing it right in plain view now. It's not like back in the day where they were hiding it is more. It's just in plain view now. All right, in plain view. So Luke 12:3, it says, therefore, you might want to read up. From verse 2. It says, Luke 12:2, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Try to cover something up, try to cover your tracks, right? You shit in the litter box and try to, use your dirty little paws to cover it up. It's all going to be known, all right? The dust, the winds are going to blow. It's going to blow that dust out of that shit, and we're going to see that big fat turd sitting there in that litter box. And that's what's happened to y'all. Luke 12:3 says, therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ears in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. It always ends up slipping out. All right, it always ends up slipping out. Whether someone blows the whistle or there's a mole, as they say, or a rat. All right, in the midst, it always ends up coming out. All right, your motives always end up getting revealed. Okay, and that's all through Yehowa Shemiao Shai. Okay, he said it right here. Okay. Whatever you spoke of in darkness shall be heard in the light. Whatever you spoke in whispered into ears in the closet, they're going to be proclaimed for the housetops. Hey, everybody, they're doing weird shit with the soda. No, they weren't supposed to hear that. How the hell did they get that information? Right? So, your little lies, they last for, a moment, right? But for a moment. There's another one like that too. There's another one, but this one I'll do. Proverbs 12. The lip of truth. Proverbs 12:19. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. And you actually did have people that came out and apologized to the people and say, "Hey, man, look, we were wrong. All right, they said the soda was going to prevent us from, ever getting any of the side effects, all right, or any of these things. We found out that's not true. All right, they said you weren't going to get it. That's not true. They said you weren't going to die if you got it. That's not true. Right? You guys were right. We were wrong, and we apologize. Right? There's a lot of people that we were absolutely fucking ostracized during this time. And at this point, we've probably all drinking the soda by now. All right, not willingly, but someone's probably shook hands or walked by someone or work with people that all drink the soda, so it's probably all and then aerosolized, right? They aerosolized it, so every time you see those chemtrails in the fucking air, all right, you can only stop and think that, hey, that's what they're dumping out. All right, well, at least maybe not just that, but probably other stuff, you know, stuff that causes other horrible diseases. All right. You just got to think, you know, the remote African tribes don't get sick. So that's just something you got to think about. It's not something that just naturally formed. Right? It's just not something that just happens. Okay. If I was in a remote island, all right, and out in the middle off the fucking, I don't know, Tahitian island. Let me see. Tahiti. It is. If I was in a remote, area out past fucking Tahiti, all right. If I was like over here, right? If I had my own little island right here and no one ever came around and bothered me, all right. If I was on Huahine or Tupai or Manuane or Miawiu, however you pronounce that, all right, and there was nobody else there with me, how would I get sick? How? You know? I mean, other than stuff that can happen with your body, with genetic stuff, right? If I was just there, how would I catch a cold or a flu? Wouldn't. Okay, well, it's spread from people to people. So the same, the same iris with a B in front of it just came up in medieval times, and we've just routinely passed this, and it's never really died off. Periodically back to back to back to back to back. Where are these sick people? Why does it come in waves? Someone's got to be holding on to it, right? Someone's got to be holding on to it so they can infect the next person. They can't just go away from everybody. There'd constantly be sick people. Why is there some time where there's nobody that's really sick? Well, they call it flu season, right? Why do they have a season for it? Why does it pick up in a certain season? Are you pumping it out? You know? Gotta think about it. I mean, what's one of the biggest markets out there? You know, you gotta think about it. All right, the healthcare market. All right, the big pharma and stuff that sells you stuff like NyQuil and Vicks and Halls and Ricola and, you know, all these other different things. You gotta think about that, right? And, you know, and it's mostly in the bigger cities. You say, oh, it spreads more. Well, you think it would spread in small places as well, but it really doesn't as much. So it's just one of those things that you really got to think about. All right, why don't African tribes get sick? Okay, remote African tribes. Why don't remote Brazilian tribes? Okay, why don't they get sick? Okay, they're out there. There's other people with them. Why aren't they getting sick? I don't know. Just something to think about. Because if it was just something normal, you think they would get sick, but they don't. They don't get cold. They don't get the flu. Okay? They don't say, oh, I've got to lay down. I got a terrible headache and a horrible cough. No. No. Unless it's caused by, like, some animal. No. Because you can get, like, malaria. All right? You can get other things from, you can get sick or poisoned from plants or things that you eat, right, can make you sick. But just a cold that you got, not because you ate anything, or not because, you stepped on something, or, something bit you, or nothing. It's just, you just get it, right? Someone coughed next to you because they had it, because someone coughed next to them. And they had it because someone coughed next to them. They didn't eat nothing, or smoke nothing, or drink nothing, right? They didn't sleep too long, or not get enough sleep, okay? It just happened. Randomly. I don't believe it. All right. There it is. Ecclesiastes 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And as a matter of fact, I got to get this one in the Good News Translation because it's so good. It's so good. It wasn't the Good News Translation. it might have been the New Living Translation that said it, but it says, this is Sirach 12:10, Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, or never trust an enemy. His wickedness is as destructive as rust, which still gets the point across. You know, rust doesn't just get better. Okay, when you have rust on your truck or something, you gotta attack it quick, because it will just spread and spread and spread and get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So his, wickedness just gets worse and worse and worse. It doesn't get better. All right, it doesn't go away. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And you're not supposed to trust these things. Never trust thine enemy. So, it's out there, man. We have enough information out there to know that, hey, man, this is some shit. But a lot of the people out there, they're gonna say, oh no, that's just a conspiracy. Cool. Go ahead and believe it. Okay. There's a lot of things that were previously conspiracy theories that are now conspiracy fact. All right. There was in fact a conspiracy that was happening, and we told you about it, or someone in the past before we were born told you about it, and you said, no, that's not the case. And then it happened. I don't know. Everybody said Diddy was doing some weird shit. Right? We were all saying that there's weird shit that goes on in Hollywood, that they're popping people, they're having weird fucking sex parties, they're doing weird shit. You said, no, that's not happening. And then lo and behold, Puffy was holding those fucking types of parties. I think we're owed an apology. Not really. But yeah, man, now you're saying, oh, I knew he was up to something. No, you didn't. Shut your dumb ass up. All right, inside joke. Shut your dumb ass up. You didn't know anything. All right, now that's on the news, you know it, because the fucking government had to tell you. The news had to say, it's true. And you said, hey, did you know that happened? Right? If the government came out and said, no, that never happened, you'd say, no, that never happened. He didn't really do it. Right? They'd come out and say, eggs are good for you. Like, did you know eggs are good for you? They're really good. We should all start eating them. Next week, on second results, eggs are really bad. Oh my gosh, throw away the eggs. They're terrible for you. We shouldn't be eating them. All right? It's like Elderman Atazatba said, you guys are too gullible. He said, during the thing with the soda going on, and the way, the thing that was, the Vidco, he said if Vidco was transmitted at 5 feet and above, y'all motherfuckers would be crawling. Right? I think it was him that said that. Y'all motherfuckers would be crawling on the ground. If he said it was only 5 feet and above, you'd be crawling on the fucking ground. All right. Oh, don't go up there. That's 4 feet, 5 feet. Oh, it's getting awfully close. These motherfuckers were wearing the face hats in their cars with no one else. These motherfuckers were walking down the street where no one else was near them wearing a fucking face hat. Okay? You know what I'm talking about, a face hat. All right, the little thing you wore over your lips and your nose. All right? Face hat. Right? Being sly with it. So, fucking you were over here wearing face hat. Okay? I had to tell my little cousin, because she went out with me, and she had to beg her fucking mom. She was like 12 at the time or something like that. She had to beg her mom just to come with me because I was going to the mall. So I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a singular shit. Okay? We were right down from the mall. I said, I'm going to the mall. So I was getting ready to walk my ass out the house and go to the fucking mall. Because I wanted to go to the mall. Believe it or not. I wanted to go, so I went. And she wanted to go, all right, because, my little cousin was very close with me when she was little. She was like, I want to go. And I said, you're going to have to ask your mom. Because I know she's on that fucking crazy shit, right? You're going to have to ask your mom. She's on that fucking crazy shit. And that little cousin actually is related to me. The other ones are not, right? Technically, not related. Half dad, half brother, but still, actually semi-related in family. These other people, I have no relation to them at all. I don't know any of their fathers. They're no relation to any of my family at all. My little cousin's actually related to me. She's more like a little sister. But she went and begged, and her mom was like, all right, okay, that's fine. Just like shoot her out. I don't think she was really listening. And she asked in the future again. I think there was some news report. She's like, no, you can't go. All right? The Vidco is rampaging. All right? The Vidco is rampaging. Everyone's getting it. But this time she was usually, I was actually surprised. I was surprised that she let her go. And anyway, she let my little cousin go. I said, all right, cool, we'll go. So we're walking because it's just not even too fucking far. And I remember we get to the mall, and she has asthma. And she was like, because she had the face hat on. All right, because her mom was like, wear a face hat. you sanitize and all these different things, right? And as soon as I get, as soon as I'll take my fucking shit off, right? I said, you don't, and she's over there struggling, and she's like, I can't breathe. I'm like, you can take it off. There's like nobody in here, right? And there's people in there, but not too many, because they're all fucking afraid, all right? And I'm like, there's not too many people even in here. And on top of that, if there are people in here, they're not near us. Take it off. And she was like, okay. And she like seemed so afraid just to take the face hat off. I'm like it's not gonna jump out in the air and get you, right? Like I said, I've seen people in their cars wearing the fucking face hat, but nobody in it. What are you gonna get it from the vent? You know, where's it gonna come from? You know, I've seen people walking by themselves with the fucking face hats on, and they like I don't know, they're gonna get it from a fucking flower. They're gonna walk by, a flower's gonna go, and they're go, oh no, ridiculous. So I had to tell my local, because my aunt fear-mongered the fuck out of the little girl, and which wasn't, can't remember if she was like 11 or 12 at the time, but fear-mongered her. All right, it was like, you gotta wear it at all times. I mean, you don't need to wear it if you're walking across the street. If it's just me and you, I don't have the shit. You don't have the shit. Who are we gonna potentially get it from? A stop sign? And she was very hesitant to take the I almost fucked up and actually said the real word. The face hat. All right. Yeah, which is the mask, right? Halloween mask. Okay, she was very afraid to take it off because her mom was making it seem like as soon as she took it off, like she's instantly gonna get VidCo. Oh no, I should have had it on. These people were really fucked up, and hell, I was, for a time being, I was really fucked up with that shit, wearing that fucking face hat. And thankfully, my wife had to be like, that's ridiculous. You're doing too much for them. And finally, I was like, yeah, you're right. And stop. That's all through how about me. I'm trying. But yeah, man, I would do it in certain situations, and had to tell my little cousin, said, hey man, it ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. You should have seen the look of relief when she could just take that fucking face hat off and walk around for a little bit. All right, you have fucking asthma. You shouldn't be wearing that shit. You can barely fucking breathe in that shit alone. All right, over here with asthma, fucking gas. Take it off, man. You can't breathe. Fuck. God damn. Sitting there trying to catch her breath. She has to wear that. I'm like, fucking just take the fucking thing off, man. Ain't nobody gonna come around you, and you ain't gonna get sick, right, from the fucking vents. Ridiculous. They had people believing everything. They had people washing their groceries. All right. My aunt fucking had that so much. I was wiping down my groceries. To be fair, from time to time, I still think it'd be okay to wipe down groceries. Because motherfucker, gross. But I don't do it anymore. They had motherfuckers be saying, be careful letting your cats outside or your dogs, because you can get it from your dogs and cats. They said, a whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. And a plus, it was a white household, and a plus, they stopped wearing shoes in the house for a little bit. That was great. Because they are afraid that it could be tracked in on the soles of your feet. In a black household, you just be having your shoes off at the door, no how. All right, because why would you want that shit? Why would you want that shit all over the fucking carpet? All right, white households are different. All right, I've lived in both black households and white households. White households are dirty as shit. All right, you'll be, putting your dirty shoes up on the coffee table and shit, walking around from every different room with these dirty shoes on that you can walk outside and stepped in gum and dog shit in, spit and all these different things that go everywhere. Anyway, so they had these people. I'm trying to think of other things, if you were 6 feet apart, for some reason, 6 feet, they actually scientifically measured it with a ruler. If someone coughs at you, as long as you're 6 feet away, that's the only things I can think of. Anything else? It's funny. First, if you're black or brown, so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, you were less likely to get it. And then the report came out like a month later, and they said if you were black, brown, so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, you're more likely to get it. Well, which one is it, man? Are you less likely to get it or more likely to get it? This first report said you were less likely. Now it says you're more likely. Which one do we believe? None of it. It's all bullshit. So, getting a little rambly, so I'm going to close out there, all right, before I get even more rambly. But, hey, one more time, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Don't trust this devil. Everything he says is a fucking lie. All right, he's not going to give you sound advice. All right, and the other thing, you got to look into that scripture. It says he is a physician of no value. Okay, he is a physician of no value. Don't get that one. All right, remember who this devil is. Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. So not only are they forgers of lies, and forging means to manufacture, to create. All right, if I was to forge a sword, it means I made a sword over a forge. All right, so if I forged a lie, I made up a lie. I made something up. They are forgers of lies, right? But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. And I don't got to look at physician. You know what a physician is. A medical practitioner. Okay? A medical practitioner. They are physicians, no value. If Esau ever helped you, know that Esau never helped you. If it seems that Esau ever helped you, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for your benefit, all right, put it on that man or woman, male or female, to help you in somehow. You got, the dentist or a hospital or whatever. He put it on that person. The Lord's taking care of you. I've had plenty of doctors that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Okay, so it's clear that they're physicians of no value, and every once in a while you'll get one. All right, and that's usually after some vigorous praying. So the Lord, put it on that person to be able to help you out. All right, so that's for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, not them. They're physicians of no value, and they're forgers of life. So don't trust these devils. Don't listen to a word they say. Stay away from them as much as you can. Got to work with them, but they're always, I always, what was it? Is it Bone Thugs? I always keep on quoting that. Creeping on a come up. All right, creeping on a come up. They're always creeping on a come up. All right, trying to come up, have some something over you. All right, trying to get better themselves. And if they're creeping on a come up, you got to be on a downfall. They'll put you on a downfall so they can get that come up. All right, they don't care. All right, they don't care about you. So watch out, man. Watch out. There's plenty of scriptures about watching out for these devils. And they're all get one, right? No, well, duh, I was already over here. Fuck you. Duh. Let me read down. Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. I keep on forgetting it's down in this verse. It says, though he humble himself and grow crouching, and he seemingly humbles himself, he never truly humbles himself. It says, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. I love that part. All right, love the whole scripture. I love that part, though. It's going to be like you wiped a looking glass. It was foggy, couldn't see through it, but you wiped it, and you're like, oh, shit. Oh, damn. I see it now. All right, there's a ship coming right toward us. All right, it says, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. It says right here in 12, it says, set him not by thee. Don't go near him. Don't set him by you. Don't put him on your team, right? Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith. All right. No, this guy's good. He's good. Not all white people are bad. And I've lost my job. Great. That's what's going to happen, man. So be careful. Watch out. Never trust these guys, man, because they're not trustworthy. All right. Don't trust them as far as you can throw them. An old saying says. But yeah, we're going to close out there. Lord, when it was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Shem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.